When I was coming into the United Kingdom, to be honest, I didn't even know I was going to become a business analyst because I hadn't heard about that role before.
Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Ash and I have a guest with me today, Akintomiwa Salako. Akintomiwa is an immigrant. He migrated to the United Kingdom as a student, started doing some odd jobs, but now he has been able to switch into the professional space. So today we will hear his story. He will tell us how he succeeded in switching from odd jobs to professional space. So give him some time to introduce himself. Please introduce yourself, Akintomiwa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Akintomiwa Salako. Basically, I've moved into the United Kingdom now. This is my fourth year. And yeah, roughly 4 years now. And when I came in as a student in master's program for international business management. And before then, I've had experience in Nigeria and also worked in a company in Dubai. The company in Dubai was a manufacturing firm producing toilet ceramics, as the case may be, and taps, showers, all likes. So I was the distribution country manager, managing deal of Nigeria for them. So a lot of experience gained from managing logistics goods into Nigeria and the distribution network in the microfinance bank. I've grown myself towards the branch manager of 2 branches at the same time. I was managing more or less a network manager and gained a lot of experience in managing people. And that company also was a French company. So it took us to Ghana for training. So even from Nigeria, I started doing some few bits of traveling here and there to expose myself into the world of different international jobs. So moving into the United Kingdom, I leveraged on that, and coming in as a master's student, I had plans for how I needed to grow into the career I needed. When I was coming into the United Kingdom, to be honest, I didn't even know I was going to become a business analyst because I hadn't heard about that role before. But when I came into the United Kingdom, I leveraged on information, which is the key when you come into a new environment, to try to study and find out what's happening. So while I was doing my course as a master's student, I was working in Amazon in the warehouse where we're doing pick and pack. Yeah, it was a very tedious job. So I already told myself I'm not going to stay long here, but I carved out myself and made plans on how I needed to move into the next levels and next jobs. So I opened up my minds towards more activities. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I mean, you've delved into my second question. And my second question is, tell us about your career journey in the United Kingdom. I'm really specific about the United Kingdom because that's a lot of immigrants who say, yes, I've been all of this in Nigeria, I've been all of this in Ghana, I've been all of this in Africa. How can I bring that to bear in the United Kingdom or in any other Western country?
Yeah, great. Basically, when I came into the United Kingdom, as I was saying, I came in as a master's student. So I was going to school and I could only work 20 hours. So while I was working in Amazon, I was doing an additional course because, yes, I found out about other opportunities because I knew I can't do this tedious one. Other opportunities came to bear, like data analysis, business analysis, KYC analyst, like that. Even the KYC analyst role was the one that was more interesting to me because is know your customer, is working in a bank, doing all the reference checks and making sure the documentations are tidied up and all that, raise issues where need be. So that was where I was tilting towards. And also the person I met, my brother-in-law, that was the job he was doing, and he was kind of training me on that part. But we met one of his friends who now introduced us to Business Analyst. So it's all about leveraging on information and the people around you. So when he introduced me to the idea of business analyst, I said, okay, I need to know more. And it said I need to enroll into a course. So I paid for a course. It's roughly £1,000. And while I was still a student, so I was still learning how to become, because I did not want to go back to the Amazon job. But while I was in that training, the Amazon job came to an end. I decided to look for another opportunity, an administrative role in a care company. So it was fine. At least it's administration, and I was in the office. What I was learning in the business analyst coaching course that I was taking, I started implementing it in that place. The interesting thing about the employer was the fact that when he saw my CV, he said, "Oh, you can't do this job. This job is too small for you." And I said, "See, I don't mind the pay. I want to be here. I'm still a student right now. This is fine for me. If I can do 20 hours with you, all well and good." And they took me in. So while I was there, they made me responsible for most of the documentations in the office, doing the rotas and all that. And then there was a requirement that came from the council about most of these care homes that they need to go digital. Oh, and that's where I started using the skill set I got from, was still learning in the training, to start to apply them. So I was able to manage the gap between the developers that council sent to us to help us build these softwares. I was the one managing it based on my level of experience. So I was managing that gap between the software developers that were giving us the software and the employer, who was my manager at that point in time. So I was helping them, making sure that all this thing that the new solution they're bringing in, I got more understanding of it. I was able to train the staff on how to use it. And the system was now for the staff to then use on the side. I was monitoring the staff using it. So that was when I knew about, oh, this is a BA thing I was doing. And gaining that experience alone on that project made me more confident to even start applying for BA roles. So that was the journey. And then the next thing happened, that I applied for a couple of jobs within a month and maybe 2 weeks, roughly 6 weeks, I landed my first BA job weekly. Yeah.
That's really fantastic. If I hear you correctly, so you moved into the BA job even when you were still a student.
So when I was a student, because, the UK rule at that point in time still allows you to start applying just maybe a couple of months before your graduation. So I started application into those jobs around August, because we're going to graduate in September and then the ceremony in January. So I started the course, the application, applying for different roles. I did my interview, and the job offer came to me September 19th. So September was a good time for me to then say, oh, all well and good, because even the employer knew I was a student, and they asked me, when is the graduation and all that. We put all that into paper, and they said, no problem, we'll give you the timeline you need, and then you can resume job. So before I finished my studies, I started applying because I knew the rule, and that's it. It's all about information. As a student, when you're 3 months towards your graduation or end of your course, you can start applying for a job, because it takes time to do the process of recruiting and getting into the role. So yes, I started applying before I course. Thank
you. So in terms of the steps that you took, because people listening will say, what are the steps? I mean, I just need these steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Can you just put us through those steps that people can use and get into, that space of switching? Tell us the steps so it can help people when they follow it to land them the job switch.
Yeah. So at this point, I could be very extensive, but really it boils down to first information, the right set, and being around the right set of people. When a lot of us come into United Kingdom, which happened to me, apart from my brother-in-law and the likes, a lot of people will tell you the only job you could do is care, or the only job you could do is a warehouse job and all that. But you need to be strategic, and you also need to have a plan for yourself. So the first thing first is know what you want, what you can handle. I said earlier on, I went to the warehouse job. I said, this is beyond me. I can't undo this. I need something else. And I also went to the care job, but I worked in the administrative role. It's based on what you want. So the first thing first is know what you want to go into. And yes, you need to gain some level of knowledge and level of experience in the United Kingdom. So give yourself a timeline. You can't say you come into United Kingdom, you got a job the next month. I don't think I've seen that happen, except they've employed you from outside the country and then giving you sponsorship to come and work in. A lot of people, when we come in, you need to still get a level of 3 months of 6 months job experience in the UK. So do your time, do that 6 months in a job, and it could be a volunteer job. While I was a student, I had a lot of friends that were working in the students hub. They were doing that to gain administrative experience. It's important you gain that experience and they know that you've done some level of job in those kind of setting. Now once you do that, basically we are getting into we're not even getting to, we're in the IT space. Now everybody's talking about AI. I'm also developing myself in AI, because even as a BA, you need to still improve yourself in the job you're doing. So get into the AI space, try to learn something. If it's just the ChatGPT skill set of how to write prompts in ChatGPT, that alone will save you a lot. I use ChatGPT a lot to write prompts and get feedbacks and get understanding of one AI tool. Just try and get one understanding of that. Just like I did, I got understanding of analysis. I didn't say, oh, I want to learn everything. I want to learn KYC. I want to learn business analysis. I want to learn this and be applying for everything. No, focus on one and put all your energy into that. Yes, they say don't put all your eggs in one basket, but when you're applying, because there's a format to write your CV. In the United Kingdom, if you put everything in one CV, the person reviewing your CV will never know which job you're applying for anymore. So in the United Kingdom, when you're applying for a job, you need to write a clear CV detailing your skill set, which is basically not just one skill set, but what you want to do. Which is, if you're applying for a business analyst role, that CV is strictly for a business analyst job. If you're applying for a KYC role, that CV is strictly for a KYC job. So how do you do this again? You can't, a lot of us, when we came in, we didn't know this. We're just applying and we're careless. We wasted time. And then that's where you hear a lot of people say, I've done 1,000 applications, I've gotten no feedback. You might have been doing it wrong, and that's why you need guidance. I always emphasize on this. We're not promoting any academy here, but it's important you go for a training. The course I did was just a 3-month course. Even though I'd paid for, I was still paying for my school fees. I had to pull out £1,000. I know I borrowed that some, but I pulled it out and I was paying it in installments to get that skill set. I'm not working with my master's degree, to be honest, but I'm working with the £1,000 I invested on BA training, because that's what is needed right now. There are a lot of AI courses. There's what we call generative AI. I think I even applied for it. I've not finished paying. I'm doing that course just to gain more understanding of how to use AI. So we need to always invest in skill sets right now. So those are the basic advice I'll give. Have a plan once you come in, be strategic, understand the environment, and try and get into a volunteer job that looks like what you want to do, and you use that to gain the experience. And please, in Spontan, go into an academy. Find an affordable one. You generate a good CV in line with that role. And I just want to wish you all the best in getting the job, because yes, you've done all you can. Then you need to start applying, and then the sky is the starting point once the jobs start coming through. Yeah.
Thank you. So to a layman who is a business analyst, initially you said you didn't know anything about the business analyst role. I know that now that the world is really going global and a lot of things are happening here, people are putting it on YouTube. But when we came, honestly, there were some roles that I hadn't heard of, even as an HR advisor or an HR professional. So to somebody that is just listening and saying business analyst, so what do they do? What skills, those core competencies that are required for somebody that wants to switch?
Yep. So great. A business analyst is a simple thing, which is just what we say. A business analyst is someone who bridges the gap between the business user and the developers of a software. So basically, you are a middleman. And why I said this is something, a lot of us might have this skill set. A lot of us have been practicing this in the previous jobs we've been doing. And that's what happened to me. The job I was doing was I was liaising between the manufacturing company and the wholesalers in Nigeria. I was the middleman. I was always traveling from Nigeria to Dubai, have meetings with my employers, get the details, the requirements they need from this from these wholesalers, and go to Nigeria, find those wholesalers, get them products, and make sure they are selling. So that was more or less bridging the gap. Now, when you come into IT space, every company and every organization, one way or the other, are building systems that are helping them to perform their daily tasks efficiently. Now, these systems, they need somebody to be able to understand what the developer is doing so that it can communicate that clearly to those that are going to use that system. And now, a developer developing a system does not have the time to be explaining codes or the interpretation of those codes to the business users. I'm not saying as a business analyst, you need to even understand those codes. No, the code is the back end system. That's where they create all the algorithms that will push out those things to the front end. The basic thing that business analyst needs to know how to do is using the front end, which is what we do on typical daily basis. We're always on our Instagram, we're on our WhatsApp, we're on our YouTube, you're typing, you're chatting, you're using those softwares. There are codes that have been created behind them, but you are using the front end of it. That's the same thing. There's a system they've created with codes. The front end of it, you just need to be able to use it, and you'll be able to transmit that information to the business users and train them on how to then use that system, because you've tested it, you've seen it works, and then it meets all the requirements they mentioned. So basically, that's what I mean by bridging the gap. And to be honest, if you're computer literate today, you can open a laptop, you could write an essay on Microsoft Word, you could use PowerPoint to do a small design, you could do some Excel calculations. Basically, having the basic knowledge of computing, I can tell you, you can become a business analyst. All you need to do is have the passion to always want to learn, because we always learn every day. We are learning how to manage new softwares, because we are the ones that will still train the business users. So we need to be able to learn how to use it so that we can transmit it. And you see, initially, I don't talk this much, but as a business analyst, you need to talk more, because you'll be in meetings, facilitating meetings here and there, and getting engagements, getting people to collaborate in meetings, making sure that everybody is satisfied, and most importantly, your business users are satisfied, making sure they are satisfied with that solution you're building. And once that happens, you're doing a good job.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the core competencies are very simple. They are things that are, we've used every day. So it's not out of this world. That's what you're saying. It's not something
Correct.
Somebody has to go and learn again. Because we're trying to encourage people that you can do this thing. Right?
I'm not just trying to encourage you. I'm telling you that you can do it. It's a role that sometimes you'll be wondering, why did they create this role? It's actually there to help the team to be more efficient, because really the team members themselves still have their daily activities they do. But imagine you're a warehouse personnel. When I was working in a warehouse, if somebody comes to tell me that the system I'm using, I need you to test the other system, I'll tell him, why? You're wasting my time. I need to meet my target. So that's where the BA comes to play. When the users are busy with their daily tasks, the business analyst is the one going into that system and testing it and confirming that the system can actually do better than the current system they're using. And once that is done, now passes it on to them also to test and see, oh, this is the thing we're talking about, and it makes sense for you to use it. So you're bridging that gap, helping them as well, and making sure they are getting the value for the systems that we are introducing to them, basically. Yeah.
Thank you. You've actually answered my next question. You've just advised everybody that you can do it. So let's just start working on ourselves, having those goals, and applying for the job. So for somebody that is looking to switch to a business analyst role, is it worth it? Are the investments worth it? Because people will tell you, I've heard people say, no, I don't want to move to a professional job, because how much are they paying you guys? I can work as much as I want. I can do that. So is it really worth it? And not just financially, right? For me, I look at a lot of things. I look at well-being, I look at finance, because I tell myself, if I'm going to be 50, if I'm going to be 60, there are certain things I don't want to do. So for a business analyst, for somebody that is looking to switch, that's been making so much money doing the odd jobs, is it worth it?
So when you say making so much money, it's all relative in terms of the level of comfort and the time you have to spend that money you're even making. Now, as a business analyst, I work from 9 to 5. I have 1 hour break, and I work only Mondays to Friday, and Saturday and Sundays are my free time. And also, as a business analyst, I can tell you that you don't work rigorously every day. Why? You have set times to do tasks and finish them up. And once you finish those tasks up, you're done. Work is done. You're waiting for the next task, which can happen maybe a whole week. You're not so busy. You're idle. To be honest with ourselves, if you do a 12-hour shift for 5 days a row, you are worn out. But as a business analyst, when you do 9 to 5, you're really worn out. You still have energy to do your own personal, build your dreams and build your career. Also, in terms of the pay, I know business analysts are earning as high as £80,000 per annum. And I think the rough estimate right now, the average business analyst salary at the moment is between £40,000 and £45,000 per annum. And I know in the United Kingdom, we hear of the statistics of saying the people living above 60,000 are limited, so you need to think about that. You want to become or be in this class of people, because this also helps you to afford things like mortgage easily. Once you have a stable income and they can ascertain your monthly salary properly, you're able to afford a good mortgage with good interest rates and things like that. So there are a lot of benefits. And also, you want sanity, you don't want to grow old quickly, so it's important that we look at the benefits on this side, as well as the pros and cons that comes with those other parts of the jobs. Basically,
for me, I think what is really big, aside from the well-being and the finances, what is really big is that career path and the career growth. I wanted to be a doctor when I was growing up, but now that I'm grown, I'm like, I can't be a doctor. So imagine, going to a field where you're sort of capped, you understand? So if you're not careful, is that something that you really love to do? And that's why we're doing this video. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. We had our guest, Akin Tomiwa. Thank you so much for spending time. Thank you so much for joining us today and encouraging people. We just wanted to share his story so that people will be encouraged. And like he said, you can do it. We all can do it. We all can go back to the job that we love doing. So until we meet in our next video, if you like this video, please make sure that you share this to your friends so that everyone is encouraged and they can learn 1 or 2 things from the story of our guest today. Thank you all for watching and have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you very much for having me. Cheers.
Bye.